back to another video. Today I'm going to give you a tutorial on the Galacticraft mod, plus some of its add-ons like extra planets. And today, part 1, I'll probably be posting part 2, like maybe right after this. We will be doing a tutorial on basically how to make your rocket, and the next part will be launching your rocket into space. And so basically this first part will just be a tutorial on all the supplies you'll need to go into space, all the gear you'll need, and all the things you should bring with you to space. So yeah, enjoy the video, and yeah, let's get right into it. Alright, so what we have here is the basic setup you will need to go to space. Let me just place the launch pad right here. Basically, this is all you will need to go to space. Practically, all of this you will need to have like an iron pickaxe for. Basically, most of this could be late game instead of before you go to the Ender Dragon, but you still can. You do not need anything required for none of this is end game required for. So all of this you can just do before you go to the end. So anyway, let's get straight into it. So the first thing you're gonna want to make is called where is it? A coal generator. Right here. A coal generator, you put coal into it and it makes energy. So you can power up all these machines, and most of these machines you will need power for. And so the recipe for the coal generator is right here, which is 3 copper ingots, 4 iron ingots, 1 aluminum wire, and a furnace. The aluminum wire recipe is 3 aluminum ingots and then 6 of any color wool. So you'll need that material to make the first step in going to space. So right here you will put some coal in there. And as you can see, it's generating heat, which will be turned into energy to power up your things. Now, there's already solar panels here, but if we remove those, this will cause energy. Now, this takes a lot of coal to start up. To make it to max, it takes 3 coal, and then after that, it takes a lot of coal, so you're going to want to replenish that until you get solar panels. So anyway, while that is working, the next thing you're going to want to make is a circuit fabricator. It looks like this, and I'll tell you how to work it. But first, this is how you make your circuit fabricator. 2 aluminum ingots, 1 lever, 1 redstone torch, 2 buttons, and a furnace, and then also 2 aluminum wires. So basically, this is what you need to make silicon wafers. So you're gonna be mining a lot for this. So to make 3 basic wafers, what you need is 1 diamond that you put up in the slot, 2 raw silicon, 1 redstone, and a redstone torch up here, and it will make a basic wafers. So let me give you a demonstration. So I have my diamond, my redstone, the torch, the silicon, and if we just put that all in here, boom, 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 and bam, get yourself a basic wafer. As you can see in here, it's running, and then after it's finished, it will appear in this slot for you to take, and it'll give you 3 of them, which is really useful because a lot of these things require basic wafers. So, anyway. The next thing you're going to want to build is a compressor. Right here. Basically, a compressor is one of the most useful things ever. A lot of these things require compressed materials, like compressed iron, compressed tin, compressed copper, compressed aluminum. So a compressor is very useful, and it runs on coal, so you don't have to worry about connecting all these aluminum wires. But there is an electric version right here, which we'll get into that later. But here is the crafting recipe for a compressor. Six aluminum, 1 copper, 1 basic wafer, which you'll need the circuit fabricator for, and an anvil. Very costly in iron, but it's alright. So once you have these 3 things, then the next thing you're going to want to make is a refinery. So the refinery is a very interesting thing. So, for example, let's say you're mining. Let me go into spectator mode. Let's say you're mining, and you are stumbling around, and you find this really interesting thing. It's like weird. It's like some black stuff. And you're wondering what it is. Well, that black stuff is actually oil. And oil is required to make rocket fuel. So these little pockets that you see right here are oil pockets. And this is required because there's no other way to get rocket fuel other than putting oil. So what you'll need is a refinery with a power source. Most of these, like I said, most of these machines require power. You'll put your oil bucket in here. It's good to have like a couple of them because 1 oil bucket equals to 1,000 fuel, as you can see right here. I already put some oil in there, so you get the gist of it. But then you'll get a canister, an empty canister, which here's the crafting recipe for it right here. It is, that's the filled one. 6 compressed tin, which is 2 tin ingots right next to each other in a compressor. Compressed steel, which is compressed iron with 2 coal together, and this is the crafting recipe for iron. 1 glass and a tin canister, which is 7 tin ingots. Very useful, and when you put it in there, empty canisters have a fuel, have the space of 1,000 fuel. So as you can see, I put it in here, and now we have 1 filled fuel canister. So the next thing you're going to want to make is, obviously you're going to want to upgrade to an electric compressor, because as you can see here, I didn't mean to take a screenshot. As you can see here, here's the normal compressor. Let me just get more. Here's the normal compressor, and this is how long it takes for normal iron to turn into compressed iron, which is, you'll need a lot of compressed steel for. I mean, a lot of compressed iron to make steel, and a lot of these machines use compressed steel. But the electric compressor, it does it pretty fast, and it has 2 slots. So if you have over a stack of iron and you want to make 2 stacks of compressed iron, you can do that. So the next thing you're going to want to make is a solar panel, so you can get solar energy from the sun over there. Let me just make it day again. Basically, these are really useful because instead of having to go mining for coal all the time, you can just wait for it to be the sun, for the sun to be out, and boom. As you can see, the sun is visible and it collects energy, a lot of energy. This is the advanced one, so it collects more, but here is the basic one. But you can also make an advanced one pretty easily. You don't need to go to any planets for the advanced one. So what you're going to want is 4 compressed steel, 1 steel pole, which is this 3 compressed steel, 1 basic wafer and 2 aluminum wires, and then a full solar panel, which you need 3 aluminum wires and 6 singular solar modules, which is 3 glass, 3 aluminum wire, and 3 blue solar wafers, which is you put lapis instead of redstone torch, and you make 9 of those. So very useful indeed. And it now collects sun, and here's the one for the advanced solar panels, which is the same crafting recipe except with an advanced wafer and 2 heavy aluminum wires, which is 1 aluminum wire, another aluminum ingot, and then another piece of wool. And that's how you make a heavy one. So these collect sun, and at nighttime it does not collect sun, but with another solar panel, which we'll go into detail with another video, it creates solar energy from the moon as well. It's called a hybrid solar panel. And I'll go over that in another video. So over here we have our coal generator, but now we also have a solar panel. So these two make energy for our machines. It's great to have multiple of these. You can put these 2 blocks apart, because if you put it in 1 block, it's not going to place because it's not going to have any room. So you're probably wondering, when are we going to go to space? All we're making is machines to make materials. We don't need that. Well, as you can see, the refinery, you can make your fuel. And you're probably wondering, but what about the space gear? Well, yeah, we're going to need space gear. So what you're going to want to do is make oxygen collectors. So these are very good, especially in space, because while you're in space, you're not going to have any air. The only other place other than Earth that has air is Kepler 22b, but that's the last planet you can go to with a Tier 10 rocket. And we're still on Earth. We haven't been to space yet, so how are we supposed to go to space when there's no air out there? Well, that's why oxygen collectors are very useful. Basically, you can use these and get oxygen. So basically the energy from the solar panel and the coal generator is connected to these collectors, and they will collect air from out here in Earth. And with that, it's very useful because now that there is air out on Earth and it's not on Mars or the moon or anything else, we can use that air and turn it into air and oxygen for our tank, for the oxygen tank that we need. The crafting recipe is right here, oxygen collector, which is 3 compressed steel, 2 compressed aluminum, a tin canister, an oxygen vent, which is 3 compressed tin and 1 compressed steel, an oxygen fan, which is 4 compressed steel, 1 basic wafer, and 1 redstone, and a oxygen concentrator, which is 4 compressed steel, 3 compressed tin, 1 tin canister, and 1 oxygen vent. Now you're going to want to make a lot of these because these are very useful for the oxygen compressor, because this is how we get oxygen inside of our tanks. Because now that we have oxygen inside of our tanks, then we can be ready to go to space, but there's a lot of other gear you're going to need. So to make the oxygen compressor, you need 4 compressed steel, 3 compressed aluminum, and 1 compressed bronze, which is 1 compressed copper and 1 compressed tin put in together. And also another oxygen concentrator. Now, how are we supposed to get air into the oxygen compressor while the oxygen collectors are over here? Now you probably see these little pipes. These are called fluid pipes. They're really, really useful for getting fuel, air, and also other liquids to different machines. The crafting recipe for a fluid pipe is right here, which is 6 glass panes with a space inside of the middle. So you've got your oxygen, so if we grab an oxygen tank, usually you should get the heavy ones if you're going to be on planets for a long period of time, especially when trying to find dungeons. You put your oxygen tank in there, and in here, right here, and it should start filling up with oxygen. Now here is how you make your oxygen tank, right here. Here is how there's light ones, medium ones, and also heavy ones. Here's how you make a light one. Doesn't matter what the color is, it's just the wool on top. It's 1 green wool, a tin canister, and compressed copper on the bottom. Now for the medium one, it's the same thing, except on the other side. On either side it could work, but you want it to have 2 of these now. And for the heavy one, it's all 3. 3 wool, 3 tin canisters, and 3 compressed steel this time. While the other one is compressed tin, and the light one is compressed copper. So now that you have your oxygen tanks, it should be ready soon. You're going to want to make 2 of them, because in the inside of this little area, don't mind that I already have the oxygen stuff ready. All of this stuff is what you're going to need, except for this. I'll tell you why later. But basically, this is the little area where you'll put your oxygen stuff in. So like over here you have your oxygen tanks, the oxygen gear, and your oxygen mask. These stuff are required. These 2 really aren't. This one is kind of required, but this one isn't that much. So now that you have your oxygen tank ready, you should put in another one. You can put it in one of these slots, and now you have oxygen tanks for the ready. But how are you supposed to get oxygen into the breathing area? Because without that, you can't breathe in space. You'll just have oxygen tanks, but not anything to breathe with. That's why you need an oxygen mask and oxygen gear. For the oxygen mask, what you're going to need is an iron helmet and 8 glass panes. And for the oxygen gear, you should have 5 fluid pipes and 1 oxygen concentrator. So now that you have that all ready and stuff, you have your oxygen setup ready, but how are we supposed to get into space? We have all the gear we need and stuff, but how are we supposed to get into space? That's when, that's what, this is for. There's a ton of stuff you need. You basically have all the things you need, but how are we supposed to get into space? Well, over here, we have the NASA workbench. Right here. This big monstrous thing that takes up 3x3 space. 3x3x4 space, actually. Goes all the way up here. Actually, no, it's just 3x3x3. But, this big monstrous machine, you look in here, and you have your tier 1 rocket already ready for you. Over here is where you'll put all your stuff, and this is the result. These 3 extra spaces I'll talk about later. So for your tier 1 rocket, what you're going to need is heavy duty plates. Tier 1, you'll need 8 of those. And here's the crafting recipe for that. The heavy duty plates. Which is 2 compressed steel, 2 compressed aluminum, and 2 compressed bronze in a compressor, and that'll get you a heavy-duty plate. Very, very, very useful because it gives you 2 and you need 8. So now that you have this space here, you can put your 8. But what are these extra spaces for? Up on top, you need a nose cone right here. And that is required for your rocket because without a nose cone, then the pressure will just go everywhere and there's not going to be oxygen on your rocket. So what you're going to need is a nose cone right here, which is 3 heavy-duty plates and 1 redstone torch. So now that you have that, you can put that all in your rocket, and it's still not building because there's 5 other spaces. These 4 spaces over here are for your rocket fins. Right here. You need 4 of those, and here is the crafting recipe for that, which is 4 heavy-duty plates and 2 compressed steel. And the final space is for the rocket engine itself, right here. You only need 1 of those. And that, the crafting recipe for that is right here, which is 4 heavy-duty plates, 1 oxygen vent, tin or copper canister, and a button, and a flint and steel. The button can be on either side, it does not matter. So now that you have all of your materials ready, put that right in there. Put the nose cone right there. Put your fins right there. And the rocket engine, and boom, you have your rocket. But what are these extra spaces up here for? That's where chests are used. You can have chests, and once you put your rocket back in, the engine, the fins, and the nose cone, you can put these chests up in these spaces, and it provides storage space that you can put on your rocket. And boom, now you have your rocket. The storage spaces are not required for your rocket, but if you're carrying materials to the moon, to Mars, or to space stations, then you're going to want to have storage space on your rocket, because without it, then it's just your inventory. So, now that you have all of this stuff ready, what you're going to need now is a fuel loader right here, and also a rocket launch pad. So right here we have the rocket launch pad, which allows rockets from tier 1 to tier 3 to be placed on this launch pad. So if you place it in a 3x3, it makes this. Let's just reset it. And as you can see, when you put it like this, it makes this little bump, and you can place your rocket on this launch pad. And boom, now you have your rocket ready to go to space. So you're going to hop in here, and you're going to notice, oh no, it's not filled. Right now the fuel loader is working, but you're going to be like, oh no, it's not filled. How come? That's not good. So, as you can see, mine is filling up. But how is it? It's because of the fuel loader right here. You put your filled fuel canister in there, and now it fills up with gas. And this is the crafting recipe. 5 compressed copper, 1 tin canister, 1 basic wafer, and 2 compressed tin. And boom, your rocket is ready. Now you can hop in and press space, but you're not going to want to go yet, because there's one important thing. If you're going to want to come back after you go to space, there's an important thing that you're going to need, and that is the parachute. Like I said, it's not really required, but if you want to go back home, then you're going to need it. The parachute, when you go back to Earth, there is a sequence where you are falling out of the sky, and your parachute helps you with that. Your parachute shows that you are going to fall slowly. Without the parachute, you'll fall to your death unless there is water below you. So, you gotta be careful and make sure you have your parachute. This is how you make the parachute, which is 3 canvases and 3 string. This is how you make a canvas. 2 sticks and 5 string. So yeah, make sure you have your parachute. And finally, the last thing you might need, it's not required, but you might want to have it, is a frequency module, which you can hear sound while you're in space. Now you're wondering, why do we need that? We don't need to have sound in space. On the moon and every other planet, there are these little villages where there's moon villagers, even though they're all different planets. There's these villagers that you can trade with, but without the frequency module, you can't hear them. So it's good to have it. And let's say that you were in a dungeon and you got a moon buggy instead of the tier 2 rocket. You can trade with them with the tier 2 rocket, the moon buggy, and also some lunar sapphires, their currency. And once that is completely finished, it'll give you a tier 2 rocket. So, very useful to have a frequency module, but you don't need it. So now that you have everything ready, it's time to go to space. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. I'm going to post part 2, maybe an hour or so right after this video, on a tutorial for the moon and stuff. And that'll go into detail on what you're going to need for the moon, for like dungeons and oxygen and stuff. And then the video after that, or maybe in the same video, it'll go over space stations and stuff and what you're going to need. And after that, that'll be all for the Galacticraft mod tutorials, and I'll move on to advanced rocketry with how to work that stuff out maybe, or I'll just do a building video for a showcase of one of my worlds with Galacticraft. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope everybody here has a good day, and I'll see you guys next time.